his order, and departed. The man turned his head to face the ocean, a concerned expression on his face. Olivia kept peddling pastries to the patrons, shooting side glances in the man's direction. When the last of her patrons left, Olivia again glanced at the gray-haired man, who was staring at his plate with a large steak and home fries. The sad demeanor of the man made Olivia uneasy. She suddenly fantasized him being upset on her account. "May I sit at this table?" she asked the man in her fantasy. "You've come!" the dark-haired man exclaimed, beaming with joy. His light brown eyes radiated sheer kindness. "I thought you'd never come. You look so beautiful in this white dress," the man complimented Olivia. "I bought it for this particular night because I wanted you to like me," Olivia uttered disconcertedly, taking the chair across from the man. "I don't know what is happening to me, but it is, positively, something dreadful," the gray-haired man said. "What could this be?" asked Olivia. "I can no longer live without you. I keep thinking about you. I want to be with you. All my efforts to deal with this obsession were in vain," the man uttered, taking Olivia by the hand. "What's so dreadful about being in love?" she inquired in dismay. "I'm frightened by the future. I don't need love. You never know what the consequences will be," he responded. "You need not be afraid of me. I love you and will never hurt you," Olivia assured. "But is there true love? Love without cheating and lies?" the gray-haired man blurted. "Of course. Look at me. I'm in love with you," Olivia stated firmly. "Why? What do you love me for?" the man inquired. "True love arrives for no reason. I fell in love with you the first time you came for dinner. I had no clue how it happened. The only thing I know is that I'm madly in love with you, breathlessly awaiting your every visit so I can see you again," Olivia responded. "So you'll never stop loving me? Never leave me for another man?" the gray-haired man inquired. "Never, ever. I don't need anyone but you. It's you I love," Olivia blurted, wiping the tears. "2 pastries, please. Pardon my interruption." Olivia started, awakened by the voice. The gray-haired man was standing in front of the counter, smiling. Blushing, Olivia packed the pastries in a paper bag and placed it in front of the man. He put the cash on the counter next to the register and headed for the parking lot, and his large burgundy sedan. A man who drives such an expensive car can't possibly get involved with a lowly pastry vendor, Olivia concluded, wiping the tears. Positively not. When you don't have your own place and make a living selling pastries, nobody needs you. Why on earth have I fallen in love with him? Filled my soul with chagrin, Olivia sniffled. One day, I will be rich. You bet. And then he'll be mine. That night, Olivia lingered in the yard, drawing the gray-haired man sitting at his favorite table by the window. Across the table sat a blonde young woman with shoulder-length hair, wiping her tears. The following day, as usual, Olivia impatiently waited for the evening and the arrival of the gray-haired man. Every time the door opened, her heart began to race, and her face blushed with anticipation. But every time, it was someone else, and Olivia's elation gave way to frustration. All evening long, she stared at the vacant table by the window and the empty blue chair awaiting its patron. Alas, the gray-haired man never showed up. Finally, the table was taken by a happy young couple, a handsome, dark-haired man and a girl with chestnut hair. They were having a wonderful time, laughing and discussing something animatedly, their entire demeanor exhibiting affection for each other. Olivia somberly observed the couple from behind her counter. Olivia spent the following day in anticipation for the evening. However, just as the day before, the gray-haired man never showed up. Olivia panicked. What if the man would never return? How could she live without him? Olivia's premonition came true. The gray-haired man stopped coming to the cafe for dinner, taking the joy from her heart. She got in the habit of spending evenings on the old wooden bench by her house, drawing. Even at work, Olivia kept drawing paper handy so that when she had a break, she could continue drawing. One day, Olivia got so carried away drawing that she failed to see another pastry junkie across the counter. "Your drawings are amazing!" A man's voice brought Olivia out of her drawing fervor, making her stop drawing and shove the paper under the counter. "Forgive me, sir," Olivia apologized, embarrassed. "May I see your drawing again?" the old man queried gently, extending his hand. Dumbfounded, Olivia handed him the drawing. "Your rendering of the ocean is outstanding. The waves look alive as they head for the shore. Do you have any more drawings?" the man inquired. "Sure, I have many more. Drawing is my passion. I've been drawing my entire life," Olivia confessed. "Ever tried to sell your work?" the man asked. "Not really. Only dreamt about it, but didn't have the nerve," Olivia replied, embarrassed. "You see, I am an artist myself, so I have some expertise in this matter, which may help you out. Here's my card. Put together a portfolio and I will take a good look at it." "Long time ago, I was in a similar predicament," the man smiled, handing Olivia a business card. "And right now, I would like 2 pastries to go," he continued, placing money on the counter next to the register. Olivia was so flabbergasted, she felt dazed for the rest of the day. The following day, after finishing work, Olivia went to visit the artist, carrying a sizable bag with her drawings. A week later, she made so much money she couldn't have made selling pastries her entire life. Olivia was astounded by sudden success. Now she could buy a large house, and next time the gray-haired man showed up for dinner, she would tell him how much she loved him, and he would undoubtedly love her back. A couple of days later, Olivia was browsing the real estate brochures and ran into a listing that caught her attention. A beach house on the Atlantic shore, situated within a 3-hour drive from where she lived. She was amazed that such a large 2-story home with a huge wraparound deck was for sale at an affordable price. Olivia called the number next to the picture of the house and made an appointment to see the property that very day. The same night, she bought the house in cash. Olivia's joy was overwhelming once she realized the mansion with the huge deck on the Atlantic beach was hers at last. Although there was no need for her to contribute working at the cafe, Olivia didn't quit her job to make sure she wouldn't miss the day when the gray-haired man showed up for dinner. Alas, her wait was in vain. The man never came. So a week later, Olivia gave up, quit her job at the cafe, and moved into her new house. Regretfully, the joyous event was marred by the disappearance of the gray-haired man. At night, lounging on the vast deck of her house, Olivia reminisced about the days she waited impatiently for the cafe door to open, letting in the gray-haired man. His entire demeanor as he sat on the cobalt blue chair at his corner table kept haunting Olivia. One of those nights, she suddenly had an urge to buy similar chairs. The following day, Olivia bought the chairs and a large deck umbrella for her deck. At first, she enjoyed the chairs, imagining the gray-haired man sitting on one of them, looking at her affectionately. A week later, Olivia traveled to the cafe she used to work at, hoping to see the gray-haired man. She took a table closest to the front door, anticipating his arrival. And, as before, every time the door opened, her face lit up with joy, only to be extinguished when the wrong person came in. About an hour later, a stocky, dark-haired man walked in and headed for the table where the gray-haired man used to sit. Olivia instantly recognized the visitor. The gray-haired man once brought him in for a dinner and a long discourse. That was the day when the gray-haired man never once glanced in Olivia's direction, nor did he buy any pastries for breakfast. Once the visitor installed himself in the corner table, Olivia got up and headed straight for him. "May I sit here?" she inquired. "By all means," the visitor replied. "You know, I used to work at this cafe," Olivia said, "and I've seen you before. You were sitting at this very chair across from a gray-haired guy who used to come in for dinner every night and then suddenly stopped. I need to see that man. I have something very important to tell him. Could you please help me find him?" "Of course, I know exactly who you're talking about. We used to work together. At the time, he was divorcing his wife. That was why he was coming here every night. After that other disaster befell him, he was moving heavy stuff at work and injured his spine. Pretty serious. Now he can't walk, confined to a wheelchair. His wife and kids got the house and had him committed to a nursing home. A sad story. Very sad," the man blurted. "May I have the address of the nursing home?" Olivia inquired. "Of course." The man took out a pen and wrote the address on a paper napkin. "Thank you so much," Olivia said. "You're welcome," the man replied. Olivia got up and headed for the exit. On the following day, early in the morning, Olivia went to visit the gray-haired man. It took her about an hour to get to the address the man had given her. She stopped in front of a 2-story long brick building, parked her car next to a couple of other cars in the lot. She was shocked to see the gray-haired man sitting in a wheelchair a few paces away from the entrance. He was somberly staring at his feet. Olivia approached the man and bent down to face him. "It's you! How did you get here?" the gray-haired man exclaimed in amazement. "I came to take you away from this place," Olivia said, looking him straight in the eye and taking both of his hands in hers. "What do you mean, take me away? Take me away where?" The gray-haired man wondered in utter astonishment. "I love you. I can't live without you," Olivia blurted excitedly. "The man I saw you with once in the cafe told me everything about you." The man closed his eyes. Both of them fell silent for a while. "What do you mean you need me? Don't you see the condition I'm in?" the man finally uttered. "I have nothing left." He made a feeble attempt to disengage his hands from Olivia's. "I don't need anything but you." Olivia brought the man's hands to her face and kissed them. The gray-haired man was staring at her in complete bewilderment. "Are you for real?" The man's voice faltered. "I sure am. Don't you see?" Olivia squatted in front of the man and hugged his knees. The gray-haired man placed one hand on Olivia's head and wiped his tears with the other one. "Remember the burgundy car? That's my only possession now," the man exclaimed. "Do you still need me?" "I love you. I will never, ever leave you," Olivia said, kissing the man's hands. The gray-haired man was lost for words, silently staring at Olivia. "Who must I talk to get you out of here?" Olivia inquired. The man gave Olivia another stunned gaze. "You really intend to get me out?" the man inquired in near whisper. "That's why I'm here," Olivia replied. "I can't walk, you know," he uttered nervously. "I know that," Olivia said. "Doesn't it scare you?" the man asked, looking Olivia in the eye. "Nonsense. What scares me is living without you." Olivia rose. "Now, who must I notify about your departure?" "Call someone to wheel me in," the gray-haired man uttered somberly. "No need. I'll do it myself." Olivia went behind the wheelchair and started pushing it toward the entrance. In the hallway, not far from the entrance, there was a desk with a plump woman behind it. She was looking for something in a thick stack of papers in front of her. "There," the gray-haired man pointed at the plump woman. "She needs to be notified." Olivia rolled the wheelchair to the desk. "Good morning, miss. This man will no longer live here," Olivia said firmly. "He is moving in with me." "All right." The plump woman placed a thick notebook on the desk in front of Olivia. "You'll need to sign here." Without any hesitation, Olivia signed the sheet. "The wheelchair stays," the plump woman said. "Have you brought your own?" Olivia was confused. "No, I haven't thought about it, but I will pay for the chair if possible," she said. "He needs a walker as well," the plump woman said. "A walker?" Olivia inquired, slightly puzzled. "Yes, he'll need it. We have them. You can buy them here," the plump woman insisted. "All right, I'll buy it," Olivia agreed. "Take 2 walkers instead of 1. You'll need them," the plump woman suggested. Olivia nodded in agreement. "Please sign here." The woman opened another notebook. Olivia signed and paid for the wheelchair and walkers. "My room is the last one at the end of the hallway," the gray-haired man said. Olivia pushed the wheelchair down the long hallway. They stopped at the last door, and the man opened it. It was a small room with a narrow hospital bed. On the bedstand was a lamp, a water bottle, and a paper cup. There was also a modest desk, a small flat TV on the wall, and a closet next to the door. "You haven't changed your mind about taking me out of this place, have you?" The man attempted to smile, but angst in his eyes smothered it. "No, I haven't," Olivia retorted firmly with a smile on her face. "All my clothes are in the closet," the gray-haired man uttered sadly. Olivia opened the closet to see a row of clothes on hangers and 2 large suitcases on the floor. She proceeded to fold the clothes and fill the suitcases with them. This accomplished, she picked up the suitcases and dragged them out into the hallway. "They're too heavy for you," the man protested feebly. "It's okay, I'm a strong woman," Olivia chuckled. She parked both suitcases at the front desk and was about to come back for the gray-haired man when the plump woman at the front desk noticed her. "I'll call a porter. He'll help you carry these," the plump woman suggested. "I appreciate it, miss. The red car on the left side is mine," Olivia said, and walked back to the gray-haired man's room. "That's it, dear. We are history," Olivia told the man, entering the room. He smiled back at her, effortlessly this time. She grabbed the handles of the wheelchair and wheeled the man out into the hallway. In the parking lot, they were met by a broad-shouldered, stocky, red-haired porter who had just brought the suitcases to the car. Olivia popped the trunk, and the redhead stored the suitcases in it. She opened the car door and brought the wheelchair as close to it as possible, then watched the redhead grab the gray-haired man under the armpits and position him in the seat. "Would you be so kind as to drive this gentleman's car to this address?" Olivia asked the redhead, handing him a piece of paper. "No problem, ma'am," the redhead replied without hesitation. "Here's the car key," the gray-haired man uttered, taking a key out of his pocket. Olivia climbed in the car and drove off. In about an hour, she stopped in front of her house. "Where are we?" the gray-haired man inquired, ogling a large, white, 2-story house. "We're home, dear. This is my house," Olivia replied. "Your house?" The gray-haired man looked bewildered. "Yes," Olivia said, and got out of the car. She popped the trunk, took out the folded wheelchair, opened it, and placed it next to the passenger door. The man laboriously turned, and Olivia helped him into the wheelchair. She wheeled the chair to the front door, took the keys out of her purse, opened the door, and rolled the chair into the house. "You live here?" the gray-haired man inquired incredulously, eyeing the foyer. "Yes," Olivia nodded. "Who else lives with you?" "Nobody. But now there will be 2 of us, if you don't mind." The man stared at Olivia silently for some time, then uttered, "I don't even know your name." "Olivia," Olivia said. "And yours?" "Fred," the gray-haired man said. "Why did you take me away from the nursing home? What did you need me for?" "I love you," Olivia confessed. I have loved you since the first night you came to the cafe for dinner. Do you remember me? Of course. You're the pastry vendor I used to buy my breakfast pastries from, Fred uttered, his facial expression changing to glum. Perhaps he remembered that, at that time, he was able to walk. You own this mansion? Yet you were selling pastries? Those days I didn't own this house. I was renting a small room. But I draw and was able to sell many of my works, made a small fortune, and invested in this property. Alas, the house was gloomy without you. It needs you to make it happy. To make me happy, Olivia blurted. I have a serious back injury. The doctors said I would walk again someday, but it may take a while. In the meantime, I need to exercise my legs regularly, Fred uttered dismally. I will help you. We'll do it together, and you will walk again. Olivia kneeled before the man, took both his hands, and kissed them. Don't you worry. From now on, everything will be all right. Fred's eyes teared, and he quickly shifted his gaze to the window. The Atlantic! You have a beach house! Fred cried out excitedly, his face lighting up with joy. Of course, you haven't realized it until now? Olivia wondered. Honestly, when we drove here, I had my eyes shut, Fred confessed. For Pete's sake, why? I couldn't believe this was happening to me. I thought it was a dream. Fred sighed. Let me show you the house, Olivia said, grabbing the wheelchair handles. The kitchen is on the first floor. What time do you have breakfast? I wake up early. I'd love the tranquility and freshness of the dawn, Fred replied. Likewise. If I wake up after dawn, I'm always sorry I missed it, Olivia said. It's a beautiful kitchen. The red cabinets are particularly nice. And now, the living room. As you see, I have 2 large sofas. You can use any of them when you want to rest and watch TV, Olivia uttered. Pretty paint. I love the burgundy color, Fred said. And the big screen TV is awesome. Yes, it's my favorite color. Olivia opened the door leading to the adjoining room. The king-sized redwood bed faced a panoramic window with an ocean view. 2 redwood bed stands with tasteful multicolored shades enhanced the coziness of the interior. This is your room. Behind that door is a separate bathroom, so you'll have full privacy here. The gray-haired man was silently taking in the ocean view. Olivia, why are you doing all this for me? Fred uttered, finally. You barely know me. I've loved you since the very evening you came for dinner. Since I first saw you, Olivia said. The reason I was coming there was because I was in the middle of a divorce, Fred confessed. It will be different this time. You won't have to divorce me because you don't have to marry me. I love you regardless, and I will never abandon you or kick you out on the street. Olivia kneeled in front of the gray-haired man, embraced his knees, and kissed them. Fred gazed at Olivia for some time, then uttered in near whisper, Why do you love me this much? I have no clue, Olivia whispered back. It was just like a bolt from the blue. Perhaps this is how true love is born. When someone is attracted to a nice house or an expensive car, it's a mercantile interest, not love. You must know that well. Yes, I know that now, Fred uttered somberly. Anyway, let's finish the tour. You must be exhausted. Olivia wheeled Fred out of the bedroom. She opened the sliding door to the deck and wheeled Fred onto it. In the middle of the deck was a large canopy and a wooden table with several upholstered cobalt blue chairs around it. Incredible, Fred gasped, beholding the vastness of the Atlantic behind the deck railing. I bought these chairs only because you used to sit on one of those at the cafe, Olivia uttered. The cobalt blue color reminded me of you. Each night, I lounged in the chaise longue over there. I imagined you on one of these chairs, the way you sat at the cafe, gazing at the ocean. Let me help get you up. Can you manage? I think I can if you hold me under the arm. I can usually walk several steps. My doctor assured me I would walk again if I exercised diligently, Fred said. Olivia rolled Fred close to one of the blue chairs, secured the wheels, and took the man under his arm. The man rose laboriously, slowly turned around, and finally landed on a chair under the canopy. Are you comfy? Olivia inquired happily. Oh, yes, fantastic, Fred replied with a smile. I'll fix you something to eat. You must be hungry. Olivia headed back in the house. She returned several minutes later, carrying a tray with sandwiches and a carafe of orange juice. You must eat to regain strength, Olivia said, placing the tray on the table. Fred smiled and dug into his sandwich with great appetite. Olivia sat next to the man. This is a beautiful place. The ocean is so close to the house, it's unbelievable. You must be very happy living here, Fred asserted, taking a swig of the juice. On the contrary, even in a posh mansion, happiness rarely makes a nest when you are lonely, when your heart is longing for the one who doesn't know you exist, when you have no idea if you will ever see him again. That's what life can be like in a mansion, when the one you love is not around. Olivia looked Fred in the eye. And who is the object of your desire, may I ask? Fred looked straight at Olivia. You, of course, Olivia quipped. When you showed up for dinner at the cafe, my heart was brimming with joy. Each day was filled with anticipation of your arrival. I was looking forward to dinner time, and the moment you walked through the door, I tossed and turned in my bed, thinking of you, and I woke up with you in my thoughts. When you stopped coming for dinner, I fell into despair. Every day I was on the verge of tears, although at that time I didn't even know your name. I didn't know where to look for you, who to query about your whereabouts. When I met the man you once brought in for dinner, I was overcome with delight. And then I found you. The gray-haired man was listening to Olivia in silence. I have to say, you are a peculiar woman, Fred uttered finally. I haven't heard of anything like this before, nor would I ever believe it until I met you. People are peculiar creatures, Olivia smiled. This is the way I am. You said you were an artist and your drawings had made you a fortune, Fred said. Yes, it's true. I am an artist, Olivia nodded. What kind of drawings, may I ask? Mostly of the ocean, the waves that crash on the beach, scaring baby seagulls who first hurry gallantly toward the surf only to scatter in fright before an oncoming wave. Sounds awesome. I love the ocean as well. Always dreamt of living on the water. Fred glanced at the ocean. What else do you draw? You? Olivia exclaimed. Me? The man queried in bewilderment, staring at Olivia. What for? Olivia stared at Fred for some time. In some drawings, you look at me with affection, Olivia replied. I drew you the way I wanted you to be, with me at your side. Do you believe in love? Fred asked. Of course I do, Olivia blurted. You'll stop believing in it once life bangs you up, Fred uttered sadly. I've been bashed by life many times, yet I fell in love with you, Olivia smiled. Perhaps you're tired and would like to rest? Indeed. It's been a stressful day. I still can't believe I'm here. I sure could use some rest. Let's go then. Olivia moved the wheelchair close to the table and grabbed Fred under his arm. Fred slowly rose to his feet and relocated into the wheelchair. Olivia grabbed the handles and rolled the wheelchair into the house. I need a walker to go to the bathroom, Fred announced somberly as soon as they entered the bedroom. You can park it by the bed. On my way, dear. Olivia walked out of the room. She went back to the car, took the walkers and Fred's suitcase from the trunk, and carried everything into the house, one thing at a time. Those are too heavy for you to carry, Fred commented as Olivia came back to the bedroom. You're red in the face. I'll survive, Olivia replied, smiling. Hard life makes you strong. She placed the walker next to the wheelchair and helped Fred on his feet. He grabbed the handles and laboriously shuffled toward the bathroom. Olivia left the room, but several minutes later, Fred called her. When she returned, Fred was already back in the wheelchair. "I don't think you fully understand the consequences of your actions." Fred shook his head. "Don't you see the condition I'm in? Why are you doing this?" "I think it is you who doesn't understand the strength of my feelings for you," Olivia uttered in a near whisper. She kneeled before the man, took off his black sneakers, and helped him relocate from the wheelchair to the bed. "Rest now. In the evening, I'll take you to the beach. Ocean breeze will do you good. We will start exercising your legs so they become stronger and you can walk again," Olivia said, holding Fred's hand. She opened the bedstand's drawer and took out a notepad and a pen. "When you're ready to get up, call me at this number. And please don't be upset. What happened happened, and now we need to concentrate on getting you back on your feet." "Thank you, dear." The gray-haired man brought Olivia's hand to his lips. Olivia smiled and left the room, leaving Fred alone with his thoughts and fears. He stared at the ceiling, feeling tears run down his cheeks. The tears no one wiped. Olivia went back to the deck, sat in a blue chair, her face radiating joy. The gray-haired man was with her, in her house, and she could dream of nothing else. Now she could see him every day. He will always be near. Her greatest dream had come true. She went downstairs, got in her car, and drove away. Olivia returned in an hour with 2 large boxes, went into the house, and knocked on the bedroom door. "I did a little shopping," Olivia said, entering the room. "Look what I bought." She opened the larger box and took out a shower chair. "I'll put it in the tub so you can take a shower." Olivia carried the chair into the bathroom. The gray-haired man observed her silently. "Now let's go to the deck," Olivia said. "All right, let's go," Fred replied with a smile. Olivia brought the wheelchair to the bed and helped the man relocate it. She put Fred's sneakers on his feet and wheeled him out onto the deck. "We will spend much time here from now on," Olivia said confidently. "The ocean view alone will give us strength." She helped Fred out of the wheelchair and into a blue deck chair, went back in the house, and returned with a second box. "What is this?" Fred inquired. "I've seen it on TV. This will help strengthen your legs." Olivia opened the box and took out a device with pedals, resembling a part of a bicycle. The gray-haired man had a puzzled look on his face. Olivia put the machine on the floor in front of Fred. "Put your feet on the pedals and pedal like a bicycle," Olivia instructed. Fred did as he was told, but his feet slid off the pedals. Olivia knelt down, placed Fred's feet on the pedals, and proceeded to rotate, holding Fred's feet on the pedals. "Well, what do you think? Do you like it?" Olivia asked joyfully. "Yes, I do. Let me try it myself. You can't hold my feet forever." Fred began to pedal himself. Occasionally, his feet slid off the pedals, but gradually, he got the hang of it. "You see, you're getting good at it, like you've been doing it for a while," Olivia said triumphantly. Fred smiled. Pedaling seemed to give him hope of recovery. "Olivia, why are you not married? You're so caring and live in this beautiful house," Fred uttered. "I don't need a man I don't love. I love you, and you alone. You are the greatest love of my life. Without you, my life had no meaning. I will never forget the time I was afraid to never see you again. It is awful to lose loved ones. When you do, you begin to understand how happy you were when you had the chance of seeing them, yet it had never occurred to you before. When you stopped coming to the cafe for dinner, I realized that I would never be happy without you. You were the biggest joy of my life," Olivia said. "No one has ever loved me this much. Never have I heard words like this," Fred said, still pedaling away. "Now you've heard them. Now you know how loved you are," Olivia uttered. "Would you like to take a walk on the beach?" "Of course I would. How could I resist?" Fred said cheerfully. Olivia took away the exercise machine, helped Fred into the wheelchair, and took him back into the house, where she picked up her burlap bag with drawing paper and wheeled the man out onto the porch. Pushing the wheelchair through the sand turned out to be much more difficult than Olivia could imagine, and the gray-haired man's weight did not facilitate the effort. Yet Olivia did her best wheeling Fred across the sand dunes, basking in the fun he was having. At some point, Olivia had to stop and rest. "Olivia, you are red in the face. It's too much for you wheeling me about," Fred declared when he saw Olivia's face. "Piece of cake, I told you I was strong," Olivia laughed, lowering herself on the sand next to the chair. She took Fred's hand and looked him in the eye. "I promise you'll walk again. One day we'll be walking on this beach together." Olivia kissed Fred's hand. "Yes, I will walk again. My doctor assured me," Fred uttered after a pause, and smiled. "The exercise will speed up my recovery, and I will walk." At this point, a flock of baby seagulls appeared out of nowhere and surrounded them. They knew Olivia always had a treat for them. Olivia laughed. "Aren't they lovely?" Fred exclaimed. Olivia reached into her burlap bag, took out several slices of bread, crumbling them and tossing them into the middle of the flock. The squeaking, wing-flopping mess ensued as hungry younglings attacked the food. Olivia handed 2 pieces of bread to Fred. "Feed them. They'll soon get cozy with you," she said. Fred crumbled the bread and tossed it to the gulls. Olivia looked at him with such affection that he felt embarrassed. She took out a folder and drawing paper and proceeded to draw a gray-haired man in light-colored pants and black short-sleeved shirt, his face radiating happiness, stood on the beach, looking at the baby seagulls feasting on bread. The ocean was tossing foam on the beach, unable to raise the waves. Olivia finished her drawing and placed it on Fred's knees. "So fast and so beautiful," Fred cried out, and laughed with either delight or surprise. "Look, I'm standing on both feet." "And you will stand on both feet, I promise," Olivia smiled. "I've drawn many sketches in which you either gaze lovingly at me or are staring out at the ocean through the cafe window." "You are a great artist," Fred uttered. "This is all I can do," Olivia replied, and added, "Oh, I can also sell pastries, of course." Both laughed. "I come to the beach every day to look at the waves. Surprisingly, the ocean's turbulence fills my soul with peace," Olivia said. "I love the ocean too, but I've never lived this close to it," the gray-haired man uttered. "From now on, you'll have this opportunity. Ocean waves will take all your worries away and give you peace," Olivia said. "You are very articulate," Fred said. "I've read many books and learned much from them. Do you like to read?" Olivia inquired. "Of course I do," Fred replied. "May I ask you a personal question?" Olivia asked hesitantly. "Please do." "Are your children communicating with you?" "No. Their mother turned them against me. The house and everything in it went to them. All I have left are 2 suitcases, clothes, and the car," Fred muttered somberly. "Don't you worry." Olivia took Fred's hand. "Now you have a home on the beach." Fred looked Olivia in the eye, but didn't say a word. "Perhaps you want to go back to the house? We can come to the beach every day," Olivia said. "I suppose so," Fred replied. Olivia got up, put the drawing in her burlap bag, and got behind the wheelchair. "I'd like to take a shower, and I will need your help," Fred uttered with embarrassment once they returned to the house. "Of course I'll help you. Let's go." Olivia wheeled Fred towards the bathroom. Once inside, she rolled the wheelchair as close to the tub as possible and secured the wheels. "See this tall shower chair I bought today? Scoot over to it and take a shower. In the meantime, I'll unpack your bags and put your clothes on hangers. Olivia bent down and removed Fred's sneakers. "I will bring you fresh clothes," she said, and exited the bathroom. When Olivia came back, she carried some clothes and a small chair. "I brought you casual clothes, underwear, and a towel." She put the chair down and placed the clothes upon it. "Call me when you're done." Olivia left the bathroom, closing the door behind her. She opened the closet and proceeded to unpack Fred's suitcases, placing clothes on hangers and shelves. Half an hour later, Olivia heard a knock and went to open the bathroom door. Fred was already fully dressed and in the wheelchair. "Beige suits you well. It matches your gray hair," Olivia smiled. "Here, I brought your slippers." She bent over and put the soft slippers on Fred's legs. "Now let's go sit on the deck. You'll watch the ocean fall asleep. It doesn't always fall asleep, though. Sometimes it stays awake till dawn," Olivia said. The gray-haired man smiled without saying a word. Olivia rolled the wheelchair out of the bathroom. "Give me your hand. I'll help you get up so you can sit at the table," Olivia uttered once they got to the deck. Fred extended his hand, and Olivia helped him relocate to one of the cobalt blue chairs around the table. "Remember I told you I bought these chairs because they reminded me of you?" Olivia asked. "When you stopped coming to the cafe, I suffered a lot, not knowing how to carry on. When I sold all my drawings and bought this very house through an ad in the paper, I seemed to have made it. I was a rich woman living in a mansion. Yet this mansion felt empty and miserable without you," Olivia uttered with sadness. "And yes, now I'm here, a wreck in a wheelchair, unable to take several steps without a walker or your assistance. Are you happy having such a man around?" Fred inquired somberly. "But I love you, and I'm determined to put you back on your feet," Olivia blurted, bending over Fred and putting her arms around his shoulders. The gray-haired man was holding tight to Olivia's hand, unwilling to release it. "I'll go bring dinner," Olivia said. She went inside the house and returned to the deck, carrying a large burgundy tray. She placed a plate with a large piece of chicken and a side of rice in front of the gray-haired man. "I cooked it in the morning before coming to get you. Do you like cherry liqueur?" Olivia asked. Then, without waiting for a reply, filled 2 flute glasses with ruby-colored liquid and sat in a chair across from Fred. "I love liqueurs," Fred smiled. "You see, we have something in common." Olivia brought the glass to her lips. "I also love liqueurs. I keep several bottles in the refrigerator because I enjoy them chilled. Let's drink to you. Today is your first day in this house, and I want you to know that this is your home from now on. You will never, ever be homeless again." "To you, Olivia. I thank you," Fred said, taking a good sip. "I still feel like I'm in a dream. It's hard to believe all this is real. Yet I'm sitting with you here on your deck looking at you, so this must be real. I just can't figure out how you've fallen so deeply in love with a man you hardly know." The gray-haired man looked Olivia straight in the eye. It was totally out of the blue. "This is what true love is, I suppose," Olivia smiled. "Have you ever been in love before?" the gray-haired man asked. "Yes, I have. But I haven't loved anyone as deeply as I love you. I've never experienced mutual love. Perhaps because I was destined to meet you, the greatest love of my life. I've spent many a sleepless night on this deck, dreaming of you. I didn't know your name or where to look for you, but deep in my soul I was convinced I would eventually find you. Because I can't carry on without you anymore," Olivia uttered sadly. The gray-haired man kept ogling Olivia with curiosity. "I had no idea one was capable of such deep feelings. It's like you're not from this world, because in this one, no one can have such potent feelings," Fred said, taking a sip of liqueur. Olivia smiled. "When you stopped coming to the cafe, my life changed in a flash. Only then did I realize how happy I was when I was waiting all day long for the moment when you walked in. You never looked my way, yet I was blissful to see you. And then you stopped coming. My heart ached nonstop, longing for you. The solitude of the soul is a tragedy. No one can see it. People may even think you are happy, but solitude is gnawing at you from within. When you are lonely, you can't look into anyone's eyes and tell how bitter you feel, how miserable your heart is in solitude, how hard it is to live without the one you can't forget. That is what solitude is about. But now, I'm happy to see you, happy that you are with me, Olivia uttered. Even in a wheelchair? The gray-haired man exclaimed. Yes, even in a wheelchair, believe me. You'll walk again. Tomorrow, we will start exercising for real, and your legs will get stronger. You must think positive and never give up, Olivia said with confidence. You are a strong person. Fred finished his drink and put the glass on the table. I told you, hard life made me strong. Olivia took the final sip of her drink. Sometimes I talk a lot because I rarely get a chance to chat with someone, but you must be exhausted. Would you like to retire now? Oh, by the way, I totally forgot to ask if you enjoyed your dinner. Oh, yes, very much, thank you. And yes, I wouldn't mind retiring now. The gray-haired man smiled. Olivia rolled the wheelchair close to Fred, helped him get up and relocate into the wheelchair. My doctor told me I would walk again, Fred uttered, settling in the wheelchair. I haven't the slightest doubt you will. You just have to get into an exercise routine. Olivia grabbed the wheelchair's handles and pushed it toward the sliding door. She parked the wheelchair in front of the bathroom, secured the wheels, took Fred's sneakers off, and placed a walker in front of him. The gray-haired man rose, holding the wheelchair arms, grabbed onto the walker's handles, and shuffled into the bathroom. Olivia placed folded pajamas on the walker. Knock after you changed, she said. Olivia made Fred's bed and returned to the bathroom when he knocked on the door. Fred was in the wheelchair, dressed in sky-blue pajamas, holding his day clothes in his lap. Olivia took the clothes and placed them on the armchair in the corner. She drove the gray-haired man to the bed, secured the wheelchair wheels, and helped him relocate to the bed. I still can't figure out what you need me for, Fred muttered dully. If you knew how much I loved you, you would never ask that question again, Olivia said, covering the man with a comforter. Tomorrow, when you wake up, call me and I will come. Sleep tight. Shall I put the nightlight on, or do you prefer to do it yourself? She inquired. I'll do it myself, thank you. Have a good night, said the gray-haired man with a sad smile. Olivia returned to the deck and settled into a lounge chair. In front of her was the turbulent ocean. It ought to be placid by that time, but something kept it angry, preventing it from calming down. The stars were shining brightly in the night sky, obviously reveling in Olivia's happiness. Now Olivia's loved one was with her for good. The following morning, Olivia woke up habitually early, brewed fresh coffee, and settled to wait for the gray-haired man, the greatest love of her life, to wake up. Finally, her phone rang, and Olivia rushed to Fred's bedroom. Did you sleep well in your new home? Olivia inquired happily. Surprisingly, I slept like a baby. Haven't slept like this since I stopped walking, Fred replied. It's great. With time, you'll be all right, trust me, Olivia said, helping Fred get up from the bed. She took him to the bathroom, closed the door, and went to get clothes. I brought you this outfit. Olivia laid out gray jeans and a burgundy long-sleeved shirt. Awesome, Fred uttered. I'll help you change if you don't mind. That will make me feel more comfortable. Get up and hold on to the wheelchair arms and I'll support you while you change. The gray-haired man silently obeyed. Olivia helped Fred into the gray jeans and burgundy shirt, bent over and put on his socks and sneakers. Burgundy looks good on you, she commented. The gray-haired man smiled as Olivia wheeled him out of the bedroom. What would you like for breakfast? Olivia asked when they got to the deck. "Your pastries from the cafe with a cup of hot coffee," Fred replied. Both laughed. "I was always blissful when you came to my counter to buy pastries. I was dreaming that you'd fall in love with me and take me out of that place," Olivia said. "I'd have nowhere to take you," Fred uttered. "I was in the process of a divorce then." "Let me help you out of the wheelchair." Olivia squeezed her hand under the man's arm. Fred was holding tight to the wheelchair arms. Holding Fred under his arms, Olivia helped him get up and relocate into a cobalt blue chair. "Sit tight. I'm going to get breakfast," Olivia said, heading for the kitchen. She returned carrying a tray with fried eggs, toasted bread, and steaming coffee. "Do you always have breakfast this early?" the gray-haired man inquired. "Like clockwork. If I wake up at 5, I feel like I've lost much precious time, missed the departure of the night and the birth of a new day." Olivia sat across the table from Fred. "You are a little strange indeed," Fred chuckled. "Perhaps that's why you draw. For the same reason you fell in love with me, brought me to your house in a wheelchair. I just couldn't leave you in that institution among total strangers. Please, eat before your food gets cold," Olivia uttered to change the subject. The gray-haired man pulled his plate closer. It was quiet. The ocean was waking up unhurriedly, throwing foam onto the beach. The grown-up seagulls soared above the waves. There were no baby gulls in sight. Maybe they were still asleep. Olivia cleared the table. "Do you mind if we begin doing the exercise now?" she asked. "Not at all," Fred replied. Olivia turned the wheelchair so the gray-haired man could face the ocean and brought the exercise machine. Fred placed his feet on the pedals and proceeded to pedal. However, his feet kept sliding off the pedals. Olivia kneeled before the gray-haired man, grabbing his feet with her hands, and started to pedal herself. "See, you're doing better today already," Olivia said cheerfully. "You think so?" Fred asked. "Of course, don't you see?" Olivia assured, ignoring the fact that she was doing the exercise by herself. She wanted to instill some confidence in the gray-haired man. "But you'll get tired if we do it this way," Fred muttered in embarrassment. "Nonsense. We must concentrate on getting you back on your feet," Olivia replied, pedaling with Fred's feet. "Now, let's do another exercise," Olivia said about 10 minutes later, and put the exercise machine aside. "What exercise?" Fred inquired. Olivia took his foot and extended the leg forward. "Like this. Can you do it?" The gray-haired man extended his leg. "Keep it higher. This is not enough," Olivia coached. "I can't do it." Fred extended the other leg slightly. Olivia bent over, took his leg, lifted and extended it. She then repeated the same with the other leg. "You see? You can actually do it," she said gleefully. The gray-haired man smiled. Olivia kept lifting and extending his legs one at a time. "That's too much effort for you." Fred placed his hand on Olivia's head. She took his hand and kissed it. "Never mind. We'll be exercising every day, several times a day until you're back on your feet. You said it yourself. The doctor told you you'd walk again. Just exercise." "He did say it, but I'm lazy." Fred chuckled. "Me? I couldn't afford to be lazy." Olivia smiled back at the gray-haired man. When they finished the exercise routine, Olivia suggested a walk on the beach. "I'd love to join you," Fred replied happily. Olivia helped Fred back into his wheelchair and wheeled him back into the house. "Look, the beach is almost deserted. Many people haven't woken up, yet here we are, taking a walk." The gray-haired man smiled. "I always come here at dawn when there's no one besides me and the seagulls. Every time I walked the beach, I imagined you strolling by my side, holding my hand, loving me. For a while it used to make me happy, but then I remembered that I didn't even know your name, who you are, and where to look for you. And at that point, tears came. I was often mad at myself for falling in love with you so deeply. But it was beyond my control. It just happened," Olivia said. She secured the wheels on the chair and sat on the sand beside it. I had to convince myself that you loved me, that one day you'd come and stay for good because I couldn't imagine my life without you. You have no idea how many tears I shed on this beach missing you. My big house was cheerless because you weren't in it. I kept drawing pictures in which you either embraced me or held my hand, or ones where we waded into the ocean together. In all of them, your face radiated bliss because you loved me so much. I couldn't live without you. Do you understand? I know I talk too much, but you must know how powerful my feelings are. I suffered from this overbearing love, but couldn't control myself, couldn't rip you from my heart. I kept visualizing your smiling face wherever I went, whatever I was doing. Well, if you never loved anyone deeply, you wouldn't be able to understand the pain that was filling my soul without you. Olivia wiped tears from her eyes, placed her head in his lap, embraced his knees, and burst into sobs. The gray-haired man silently stroked Olivia's hair and wiped her tears. "You love me too much," he muttered. The other name for too much love is true love. When one loves not too much, there are always other men and women. But for me, there is only one man, you. Olivia got up, walked to the surf, and washed her face. "I apologize for talking so much," she smiled. "But you must continue so we know each other better. And you are right. I've never loved anyone this much. Your love is just too great. People don't have such profound feelings," Fred said. "I can't help myself, can't love any other way. I either love someone or I don't." Olivia smiled. Baby seagulls appeared out of nowhere and ran toward Olivia as if they'd been hiding until she calmed down. She reached into her bag, took out a bag with a slice of bread, and handed one slice to the gray-haired man. "Go ahead and feed them," she said. Fred crumbled the bread and tossed it to the birds that snatched the crumbs and ran toward the surf. "I see you brought your drawing paper along. Do you draw every day?" Fred inquired. "No, doesn't happen every day, though I wish it did. It is a special urge when you're almost compelled to draw. But it comes and goes randomly. That's why I always carry paper and pencils. You never know when the urge comes along," Olivia uttered dreamily. "But I do draw a lot, it's true. What keeps me going is my love for you. Would you like me to draw you?" "Please do." Fred smiled cheerfully. Olivia took out a sheet of paper from her bag, sat on the sand in front of the gray-haired man, and began to draw. Fred was eyeing her inquisitively. She drew an attractive gray-haired man around 60, in a sky-blue polo shirt, khaki slacks, and dark sneakers sitting on the ocean beach. He was smiling cheerfully, his eyes radiating love and peace. Not too far from him, a slender young woman with shoulder-length blonde hair stood knee-deep in the water. A wet, light-colored dress clung to her body, underlining the pretty curves of her figure. The woman was looking at the man with great affection, as if silently telling him, "Yes, I love you. I'm happy you're here." "Oh my God," the gray-haired man exclaimed when Olivia handed him the drawing. "Your face in the drawing is glowing with utter joy. The wet dress wraps around your body so tightly. It looks like you are standing there completely nude." "And what can you say about the man in the drawing?" Olivia inquired. "It's me. I'm sitting on the sand with no wheelchair in sight, smiling the way I was before I got in this wheelchair," Fred said sadly. "You will get out of this chair, I promise you." Olivia kneeled before the gray-haired man, took his hands, and kissed them. They stayed on the beach a while longer, observing the waves and the seagulls before it was time to return home. Once in the house, Olivia took Fred to the deck, brought the exercise machine, and placed it in front of Fred. "Here we go again," Olivia said, looking the gray-haired man in the eye. Fred put his feet on the pedals and proceeded to pedal. "See, you can do it." Just keep at it and everything will be fine," Olivia observed with much delight at the way the gray-haired man was pedaling with ease. She went back into the house, brought a walker, and placed it behind Fred's back.